Hey everyone, welcome to the team. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Look, as new members of our care team, you're stepping into one of the most crucial roles in our entire facility. You can consider this explainer your go-to visual guide, your standard operating procedure for taking our residents' blood pressure. I know starting a new job can feel completely overwhelming. There's just so much information to absorb, right? But don't worry, I've structured this exact path so you can master the process step by step with total confidence. We're going to break this down directly and visually, ensuring you feel 100% ready for that very first shift.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Before we look at the how of doing things, we absolutely must understand the why. As this quote highlights, the only way to know whether lifestyle changes or medications are actually working is to check vitals regularly. As caregivers, you aren't just taking blood pressure to tick a box on a form. These numbers, they are literally the language of our residents' bodies. Monitoring these subtle changes gives the doctors the vital baseline they need to make life-altering decisions. Whether it's tweaking the dosage of a heart pill or just overhauling a treatment plan entirely, it all hinges on the accuracy of the data you collect. You are the eyes and ears of the medical team.
So, to keep things crystal clear, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with why vitals matter, cover the key hygiene steps, how to properly prep the resident, the actual mechanics of taking blood pressure, and finally, recording the data in the binder. You're going to know exactly what to do from start to finish.
All right, Section 1, the why of vitals and the true impact of your work. Let's look at exactly when we need to take them. So, the golden rule here is every single morning, right before breakfast. Now, you might be wondering, why is timing so incredibly strict? Well, digesting a heavy meal can actually, temporarily at least, alter a person's blood pressure. It can even mask underlying hypertension entirely. We need that pure, untouched baseline reading. And sure, while you might take vitals before other meals, if specifically indicated by a doctor for a resident, that morning routine, it's completely non-negotiable. Consistency is the magic ingredient for accurate medical tracking.
Moving right along to Section 2, Key Hygiene Steps. This is all about protecting our residents.
Let's move to and see how this builds into our everyday routine with 3 non-negotiable physical steps. Wash your hands, put on gloves, and disinfect your devices. Actually, let me emphasize that last point. It's absolutely crucial. Disinfect both before and after use. Never, ever just assume a device is clean just because it was tucked away in some drawer. Clean it before it touches the resident and clean it again before you store it. It creates this continuous, unbroken cycle of safety.
But hygiene and safety aren't just physical. They're emotional, too. Never forget empathy. You must always explain the process. Say something simple and kind, like, "Good morning, Mr. Smith. I'm just going to take your blood pressure real quick to make sure everything is looking great today." And always, always ask for permission. You literally never want to just walk up and start strapping a cuff onto someone without their clear consent. Their dignity is just as important as the numbers we're trying to get.
Okay, Section 3, Resident Preparation. Getting the perfect posture for absolute precision.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between getting a reliable reading and setting off a total false alarm. For a precise reading, you want the posture on the left. The resident should be seated calmly, sitting upright with their back straight and supported and feet perfectly flat on the floor. That posture on the right, avoid it entirely. Did you know that simply having a casual conversation or even just crossing your legs can artificially spike a blood pressure reading by up to 10 points? 10 points. It completely skews the data. Always guide them into that calm, supported posture before you even think about touching the power button on the machine.
On to Section 4, Taking Blood Pressure. Let's get into the mechanics of placing the monitor.
Right, so before anything goes on the resident's arm, do a super quick check of your equipment. Make sure the battery's actually charged and the monitor turns on. If it's a model you've never used before, just quickly review the instructions or, hey, ask a partner for help. Also, note the medical preference here. We always want to use the right arm to check blood pressure. Now, if that's not possible for physical or medical reasons, the left arm is totally fine, but your default target should always be the right.
So, the crucial point is the exact geometry of how we place the cuff. First off, the bottom of the cuff needs to sit just above the bend of the elbow. Second, the middle of the cuff has to be perfectly leveled with their heart. Third, wrap it snugly against bare skin. Seriously, wrestling a blood pressure cuff onto a thick, chunky sweater never ends well. You're basically just getting the sweater's blood pressure, right? And fourth, make sure their arm is resting comfortably on a flat surface. Once you have that exact setup dialed in, you're good to hit start.
Finally, Section 5, Recording in the binder. Because remember the golden rule of healthcare? If it's not written down, it simply didn't happen.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly mirrors the actual vitals record binder you're going to be using. This is the resident's official health document. You absolutely must fill out these 5 specific fields without fail. Today's date, the exact hour you took the reading, the BP or blood pressure, the HR, which is the heart rate, and finally, the oxygen level. Every single one of those distinct numbers tells a massive piece of that person's overall health story.
Well, getting the number is step 1, but analyzing it is step 2. Once you have your reading, instantly compare it with the BP level chart conveniently located right on the binder cover. If the numbers aren't completely normal, your immediate responsibility is to report it to the person in charge. Don't guess, and definitely don't wait around. And please, I can't stress this enough. Always ask for help anytime you have questions. We operate as a unified team here, and keeping the residents safe, that's our shared mission.
The exact data you collect today could literally be the exact warning sign that prevents a massive medical emergency tomorrow. Think about that for a second. By mastering this procedure, bringing real empathy to every single interaction, and meticulously recording your findings, you make an incredible difference. So, as you step out onto the floor for your very first shift, are you ready to be the first line of defense for our residents' health? We know you are. Welcome to the team, and let's get to work.